Good evening and welcome to our Monday, June 3rd, 2024 meeting. It's our regular meeting. Before getting into the business, I'd like to congratulate our Canada women's soccer team for winning a friendly against Mexico 2-0 on Saturday and the wrapping up of the PWHL. Unfortunately, there were no Canadian teams, but it was great to see. I think a success, a sellout for that. So called to order. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lang, seconded by Councillor Bougie. Be it resolved that the June 3rd, 2024 council meeting of the Township of Glengarry now be opened at 7 p.m. All those in favor? Carried. If we can all rise for the singing of our national anthem. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? All right, approval of the agenda. Are there any changes or amendments?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, there are quite a few changes to the agenda this evening. The following item was pulled, 8B, appointment of deputy clerk. It was replaced with the following items, appointment of deputy clerk, Dave Robertson, appointment of deputy clerk, Kimberly Castleman, and appointment of acting chief administrative officer, Dave Robertson. As well, the following two items were pulled from the consent agenda, the Environment Committee meeting minutes and the Environment Committee strategic plan input.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Jaworski, seconded by Councillor McDonnell. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of South Glengarry approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor? Carried. Approval of the minutes. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lang, seconded by Councillor McDonnell. Be it resolved that the minutes of the following meetings be adopted as circulated. Special meeting minutes, May 27th, 2024. Previous meeting minutes, May 21st, 2024. Were there any errors or omissions noted? All those in favor of the motion as read? Carried. We will get into action request 7A, confirmation of Kinloch Road closure. Moved by Councillor McDonnell, seconded by Councillor Jaworski. Be it resolved that Staff Report 2024-61 be received and that the Council of the Township of South Glengarry acknowledges receipt of the public feedback related to Bylaw 2024-23, and we choose either option A, confirms the direction provided by Bylaw 2024-23, or option B, directs administration to prepare a bylaw to rescind Bylaw 2024-23 at the June 17th, 2024 Council meeting. Ms. McDonald.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor, this is a bit of a cleanup following passing of the bylaw 2024-23. The feedback received from the public is attached to the staff report, and I believe all of council was CC'd on both that and then the response provided administratively, which is also included in the report. I'd just like to remind council that if council chooses to direct us to prepare a bylaw to rescind the previous bylaw, that this would have a budget impact to our 2024 either operating or capital, and thank you.
Just a point of clarification, has it passed the time whenever we were keeping it open for a certain amount of time? Have we met that threshold?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, we have.
Okay, are there any comments from around the table? I see Councillor Jaworski.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor McDonald. Thank you, Ms. McDonald, for bringing the report to us, as well as the comments from the public as well as your answers to them. I want to thank you for being very thorough in those responses, and if the folks who did provide comment, I did want to indicate that I did, I did review it thoroughly, and certainly I would say this is one of the more difficult decisions I think that's come across, at least for myself, speaking for myself, in terms of decisions we've made. I mean, it's a very, it's a very significant change to a level of service that certainly no one took lightly, and it is regrettable that it has to come to this, but I do think that it's the most prudent decision in terms of the financial resources of the township. So thank you.
All right. Councillor, or Deputy Mayor Lang.
There, is that better? Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you. Ms. McDonald, are you, if once this is passed, I know it mentions in the report that we will, we're not going to just completely forget about it. Are you going to be investigating a little further whether there is a way to move forward? Like $2 million, I agree, is way too much. If there was a way to do it for half of that, but might be more interesting, are we going to be, is there a plan to, to move forward with a little bit more investigations just to see if there's a way to do this?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, we're undertaking the hydraulic analysis with SDG right now to confirm how much water we need to flow through the culvert. We have a draft report, but they are looking into the modeling a bit more. So once we have that answer, like, do we have to carry this much water, or can we, make it smaller? Then we'll have a better understanding of if what we think we might have to build needs to be built. And we'll keep going from there, just plugging away at it.
Also in the public comments, there was a note that if it cannot become traveled by traffic, if it could be left there for as long as possible for recreation purposes. I don't know if that's something, but it's something just to consider, because if it can be safe for that purpose, perhaps putting bollards up. And then additionally, I did note in that one of the correspondence that somebody noted that they thought things were mismanaged, and I wouldn't say that per se. I just want to comment to that specifically. Is yes, the prices of things have gone up. Council has been diligent with last two budgets, and I think it's fair to say I think we've gone up 12%. However, construction costs have gone up 20%, so it's not a mismanagement issue. It's just the reality of aging infrastructure in a rural municipality. So I felt I had compelled to comment to that specific one because that's on record in our agenda. Are there any other comments? All those in favor of, I guess this is option A for the present? Carried. Moving to item 7B, Pattingale Culvert Procurement, moved by Deputy Mayor Lang, seconded by Councillor McDonnell. Be it resolved that Staff Report 2024-62 be received, and that the Council of the Township of South Glengarry authorize the General Manager of Infrastructure Services to proceed with the purchase of a pipe arc from Armtech in accordance with the quote of $24,749.40. Ms. McDonald?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, this is the culvert on concession 2, just east of First Line. We have a steel plate right now. If you've gone over it, it's a bit bumpy, so we'd like to change that up. It does need to be done this year, and the steel plate is not a fantastic option. You'll remember in the budget, we put forward a few culverts. It was Pattingale, wood, and then 2 on Grays, and this is the least expensive one, so we're starting here, and hopefully with the money that's left in that much more substantial budget, we'll be able to do a bit more on some of the others, or if not there, at least find another culvert in similar state. Thank you.
All right, and would this have come in, I know on the broad scale of things, under budget, but like, was it reasonable for this particular part of that 160,000?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, my original gut was 30,000 for this pipe, and then we went out and did some feelers, and the quotes came back like 2 engineering firms at 40, 45, which scared me a bit. So this is more what I was expecting. So it's well under the budget that we brought forward because we got a bit nervous when we saw the pricing that everyone else was receiving.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion as read? Carried. Move to item 7C, award of RFP 2024-06 canteen services at Charland Rec Center. Moved by Councillor McDonnell, seconded by Councillor Bougie. Be it resolved that staff report 2024-63 be received and that Council of the Township of South Glengarry award RFP 2024-06 for canteen services at the Charland Rec Center to Snack Shack Canteen as per their submission of $250 per month plus HST, and furthermore that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign all relevant documents. Ms. Harbers.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor. This report is just to award the canteen RFP. As you'll see, we just had the one submission, the same contractor that operated the canteen last season. And just to note that they wouldn't be able to operate until October 15th. But as last year, they also didn't start operating until the beginning of October. September isn't typically that busy with games and such for minor hockey, as it's a lot of tryouts and practices. So unless council has any questions, we are recommending that we award it to the Snack Shack Canteen.
Any questions? All those in favor of the motion as read? Carried. Thank you. We'll move to bylaws. Bylaws 8A, Shared Tower Agreement, North Lancaster. Moved by Councillor Jaworski, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lang. Be it resolved that Staff Report 2024-64 be received and that Bylaw 2024-31 being a bylaw to mutually terminate the existing lease with 4141903 Canada Inc., operating as Storm Internet Incorporated, and to enter into a lease agreement with Shared Tower Inc., be read a first, second, and third time passed, signed, and sealed in open council for this third day of June 2024. Ms. McDonald?
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor. This is a request from Storm to terminate their lease agreement with us a bit early, but transfer that lease to Shared Tower, who would take over the infrastructure and offer leasing to more than just Storm. So it's an opportunity to perhaps bring in Bell or Rogers or any number of carriers onto our tower. Some benefits to us is that the original agreement was expiring in 2 years. The new agreement would be for 10 with an option for another 20 years, unless we agree at that 10-year mark to not continue. However, we did, under the original agreement, have some benefits from Storm. It was complimentary internet to our facility and also use of their generator. So through this new agreement, we would have another 7 years with those perks before we would need to renegotiate with Storm at that time. So we were going to have to renegotiate in 2 years, and we now have an additional 7 for those perks, plus the additional benefits to hopefully bring more carriers and options to South Glengarry. Thank you.
Are there any questions or comments from around the table? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion as read? Carried. Moving to bylaw 8B, appointment of Deputy Clerk Dave Robertson. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lang, seconded by Councillor Jaworski. Be it resolved that Staff Report 2024-65 be received and that the bylaw 2024-32 being a bylaw to appoint Dave Robertson as Deputy Clerk for the Township of South Glengarry be read a first, second, and third time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this third day of June 2024. I believe this is Ms. Dixon.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, this is just a bylaw being brought forward so that Mr. Robertson could assist me in clerking various meetings throughout the municipality.
Any questions or comments from around the table? All those in favor of the motion as read? Carried. Moving to appointment 8C, appointment of Deputy Clerk Kimberly Castleman, moved by Deputy Mayor Lang, seconded by Councillor McDonnell. Be resolved that Staff Report 2024-67 be received and that bylaw 2024-36 being a bylaw to appoint Kimberly Castleman as Deputy Clerk for the Township of South Glengarry be read a first, second, third time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this third day of June 2024. Is this Ms. Dixon?
This bylaw is specifically so that Ms. Castleman can help with our CIO recruitment, just to make sure that everything is copacetic.
Any questions from around the table? All those in favor of the motion as read? Carried. Moving to 8D, appointment of Treasurer, Kaylin McDonald. Moved by Councillor McDonnell, seconded by Councillor Bougie. Be it resolved that Staff Report 2024-66 be received and that bylaw 2024-33 being a bylaw to appoint Kaylin McDonald as Treasurer for the Corporation of the Township of South Glengarry be read a first, second, and third time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this third day of June 2024. Ms. Dixon.
This is a well-earned appointment. Kayla McDonald has been our deputy treasurer for some time now and has been recently awarded the position as treasurer.
All right, so this is a award of a position, a former one that I obviously held, and if I can borrow former Councillor Mackenzie's words to me as I was learning, he said, "It is the most important appointment at the township, more so than the CEO, respectfully, is the treasurer." He may have been pumping my tires, but I always remembered it. So congratulations from council, and we'll do a hand clap in that regard, as we sometimes do. All those in favor of the motion as read? Carried. Yeah. Just a side comment that we did. Imagine that. Oh, gosh. 8E, appointment of acting chief administrative officer. And we will clap after we approve it this time. Thank you, Councillor McDonnell. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lang, seconded by Councillor Jaworski. Be it resolved that staff report 2024-68 be received, and that bylaw 2024-35, being a bylaw to appoint Dave Robertson as acting chief administrative officer for the Township of South Glengarry, be read a first, second, and third time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this third day of June 2024. Ms. Dixon?
This bylaw is just to appoint Dave Robertson as acting CAO for the interim as we start our search for another CAO, so that Mr. Robertson can help keep the boat afloat.
All right, thank you. Does anybody wish to have a comment? I just kind of said it was maybe the second most important position to treasurer, heavily biased, but welcome on board, I suppose. And Deputy Mayor Lang, I'll let you take the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to comment that I thank all the staff involved that have stepped up, and it's a bit of a trying time when you are searching for a new CAO, but everybody has stepped up, and we appreciate it very much, and we'll do the best we can to make it successful and support you guys, but thank you.
Well said. So thank you very much. Fire Chief, now CAO acting, Dave Robertson. We'll give that, no, all those in favor of the motion as read? Carried, and we'll do the applause as we usually do. All right, moving into consent agenda. I believe Councillor Jaworski has pulled 10A and 10B, being the Environment Committee, as well as the Environment Strategic Plan input. So I'll let you talk to both of those back to back. Councillor Jaworski.
Thank you. Through Mayor McDonald. So the Environment Committee, we met, well, as you'll see, we met in September, and those are the minutes that we were approving. And as well, you'll notice one of the last items on that was that we were scheduling a visit of to GFL. And so I wanted to let council know that the committee did have that visit, a tour of GFL in November of 2023. It was very well attended by multiple members of the committee. Myself and Deputy Mayor Lang were there. And a few members of staff as well. So no, and it was I'd recommend to any folks, any members of council who haven't had a chance to visit, to take it up, to take the opportunity, because it is a very interesting site, and likely it is the future or the now for many of our neighbors. So something to be familiar with. And then the other item I wanted to mention is that at our last meeting, which was just this last week, we had a discussion on strategic plan input. At the Environment Committee, we have a few standing, or we call them focus areas, that we chat about every time. We talk about producer responsibility, about landfill management, different diversion opportunities. And so the committee wanted to provide something a bit more formalized for council's consideration as they move into strategic planning. And so the three items, let's call them strategic directions, that the Environment Committee is proposing to council is, the first one is enhanced solid waste management and waste diversion. And these are intentionally quite broad in scope, knowing that, council may have different ways of wanting to approach this, and we didn't want to be limiting in our recommendations, but that, that a lot of work's been done with the weekly recycling and the reduced bag limit, but that, there's more opportunities there in terms of waste diversion and improving the management of, or lengthening, let's say, the lifetime of our landfills through that. Also, the next item is demonstrating leadership in areas of climate mitigation, adaptation, and resiliency. And so it makes me think of the discussion we had on maintaining gravel roads and potholes, and I think it was our mayor at the end who was mentioning about the challenges that climate change are bringing in terms of road maintenance. So I mean that there's many things that can fit into that bucket on what kind of, if that's a lens that council might be interested in using when evaluating, investments in infrastructure. And then the last one is increasing outreach and education for environmental initiatives. And so I'd say, like, you could probably make that a bit, simplify that to just, improving communication and education, to our residents, using the township to be a leader in those activities and a communicator out to the residents as well. So those were the three items. I don't know if Ms. McDonald wanted to add anything to that? No? Or if Deputy Mayor Lang was there as well, if he thinks that maybe I'm telling stories here.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you. Yeah, I think what the Environment Committee would like is that, we're likely going to end up with 4 to 6 strategic directions that we're going to take for the next few years, and they'd like us to consider having something to do with the environment in one of those at least, I mean, we have many things that we need to work on in this township, and, the cost of our assets is going to be a big one, I'm quite sure, but we'll see how it works out. But if the committee decide if they put this forward, maybe it would help get our head thinking about maybe having something environmental mixed in with that, so.
If I may, one other item that's captured in that report is just like it's always good to comment that our management of our landfills and how we've changed staffing and the weekly recycling and the bag limit do seem to be having a positive impact on the lifespans of the landfill. So just feel it's always important to mention again that at the bottom of that page 47 in our package, how North Lancaster we're estimating 2031 and Beaverbrook 2040, but this is sorry, I got lost in my train of thought there. But these are, again, this is when like piggybacking on what Deputy Mayor Lang is saying is that there's these are assets. This is infrastructure, and that has major cost implications. So the more we can do to help keep those assets going, it does have a big benefit to the balance sheet of the township. Thanks.
Deputy Mayor Lang sits at the RRCA board with me, so he probably knows I'm in favor of that in some way or form. We don't have the greatest answer, but even thinking of like your municipal water works alongside a road, sometimes like green infrastructure there actually saves you time because it's easier to just take a backhoe and replant some kind of popular plant to slow down water and keep it moving versus putting a steel culvert there. And if I may get slightly political for a moment, I like the idea of environmental sustainability because my focus will be on fiscal sustainability, service level sustainability, and infrastructure sustainability, all with customer service excellence. So there's like a little preview to Friday for all around council. Any more comments on this particular one? Okay. Excellent. So moved by Councillor Bougie, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lang. Be it resolved that council accept the items listed on the consent agenda. Now, just before I approve that, we don't need to do anything formal. That was just to bring it to the attention of council that that's what the environment. Excellent. All those in favor of the motion is read. Carried. So this is a big closed session resolution, so please bear with me. We will be moving into closed session. Moved by Counselor Jaworski, seconded by Counselor McDonnell. Be it resolved that council convened a closed session at 7:25 PM to discuss the following items under Section 239(2) of the Municipal Act SO 2001. K, a position plan procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board. B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. F, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, specifically ongoing litigation. F, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. 3.1, a meeting of a council or local board or a committee of either of them may be closed to the public if the following conditions are both satisfied. 1, the meeting is held for the purpose of educating or training the members. 2, at the meeting, no member discusses or otherwise deals with any matter in a way that materially advances the business or decision-making of council, local board, or committee. 2006 C32, Schedule A at Schedule 103.1, specifically Integrity Commissioner Training. D, labor relations or employee negotiations, specifically staffing matter. Does anybody need that read again? All those in favor of the motion as read? Carried. So to the public, we will convene to closed session. Without reporting, we'll come back afterwards. Thank you for your time. Hello and welcome back. We're coming out of closed session. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lang, seconded by Councillor Bougie. Be it resolved that council rise and reconvene at 7:54 PM into open session without reporting. All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Jaworski, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lang. Be it resolved that administration be directed to carry out all actions as specified in closed session minutes. All those in favor? Motion is read. Carried. Confirming bylaw, moved by Councillor Bougie, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lang. Be it resolved that bylaw 2024-34, being a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify matters dealt with by resolution, be read a first, second, and third time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this third day of June 2024. All those in favor? Carried. And then adjournment, moved by Councillor McDonnell, seconded by Councillor Jaworski. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of South Glengarry adjourn to the call of the chair at 7:55 PM. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you, everyone in this room, and have a good evening, everyone in South Glengarry. Bye for now.